Welcome to the Mountview Middle School Grade 5 Parent Orientation for Spring 2021. My name's Eric Githmark. I'm the principal at Mountview Middle School. This is my 12th year serving as principal here. I've been a school principal for 17 years and a school administrator for 21 years. I grew up in Holden and I have 4 children, and I'm the grade 7 administrator who handles parent meetings, and I handle all the big issues at Mountview.
My name is Karen Hughes. I am the assistant principal here at Mountview. Just like Eric, I'm also a Mountview graduate, a Wachusett graduate, and I grew up in the town of Holden as well. I have been the assistant principal at Mountview for 18 years, and before that, a language arts teacher. My job here at Mountview is to be the grade 6 administrator, so I handle all grade 6 parent meetings. I am also the special education team chair, and I do MCAS testing and scheduling for all 3 grades.
Hi, I'm Brian McCarthy. I'm the other assistant principal. I'm the grade 8 administrator, the 504 coordinator. I also handle athletics and discipline. I've been in my role as assistant principal for around 15 years here at Mountview.
So Mountview is still a relatively new facility. It's a beautiful new building. We work hard to keep it looking new, and it was designed to meet the needs of our kids. Mountview is a huge facility. Obviously, it takes up a lot of acreage. It has 3 floors with 3 grades and close to 800 kids in the building. The piece that's important for incoming 6th graders to realize is that most classes for a 6th grader will be on the first floor of the building, on either the blue or the gold pod. So our school is designed with an A and a B building. The A building is our cafeteria, gym, music wing, and that's kind of the loud section of the building. And the B section of the building is the right-hand side where our academic classes take place. And that was designed so that we wouldn't interrupt the academics with the PE classes and the band and chorus classes taking place. As I said, grade 6 students have classes on the first floor only, so it makes negotiating the building fairly simple. And their core academics, again, take place in either the blue or the gold pods, which is literally leave one class, walk across a pod area to their next class. It's very easy to find their way around their building. The design configuration helps students negotiate the facility efficiently, and it helps with the transition process from class to class. Our school hours are from 8:15 to 2:45, and parent drop-off and pickup are in the back of the school. You'll see in this picture displayed right here, buses will pull up into the front of the school building.
So this year, Mountview Middle School currently has 777 students enrolled. Given that our 8th grade class is large and our incoming grade 6 class is a little bit smaller than our 8th grade class, the minimum number of students we are expecting for next year would be around 750 students. We have students in grades 6, 7, and 8. In grade 6, our students are divided into 2 teams. There's a blue team and a gold team. On each team, there are 6 teachers. We have 2 LA teachers per team, language arts, that's reading and writing. And the reason we have 2 there is because we have double blocks of language arts in grade 6. Each team has a math teacher, a science teacher, and a social studies teacher. And then we have a seminar and an art teacher that is shared by both teams. So there really is no difference between the teams, despite what you may hear. The teams are randomly chosen by PowerSchool. So when your students register for classes, which I'll show you how to do in a little bit, and I actually start putting them into classes, PowerSchool just kind of randomly puts them there. And then we do some moving around based on information that the 5th grade teachers give us or based on services that are needed. And then we do some balancing. So there's no, I mean, it's a common group of kids that share a common group of teachers, which allow them to kind of, it takes them from that the sub-separate classroom that your kids are in now, that small classroom that they're in now, and it kind of branches them out a little bit to have more than one teacher, but it still keeps a core group of kids with a core group of teachers so that they can talk and plan and do things together. So just so you have an awareness of our schedule here, like I said before, all of our students run on a 7-period day. They have a double block of language arts, a block of math, a block of science, a block of social studies, which is World Geo and Ancient Civs 1. They have a block of seminar and art. And then they have a block of related arts, what we call related arts, which is PE and music. So to go back to seminar, people often ask us what seminar is. So seminar is our class where it's everything that you need to know in order to be a successful grade 6 student. So in that class, the teacher would cover things like public speaking, organization, study skills, bullying topics, all those kind of extra things that still need to be taught as our students advance to middle school, but aren't necessarily skills that they have fully intact before they get here. And art class and seminar class are kind of woven in together. They are essentially 90-day classes that we spread out over the course of a year. We didn't want to have one team get just art and not get seminar until January, because we need them to be organized before January. So depending on which team your child is on, they would end up starting the year with 3 days of seminar and 2 days of art, or 3 days of art and 2 days of seminar, and at half year that kind of swaps. And just for related arts, our kids currently have 2 days a week of PE and 3 days a week of music, and current selections for music are band and chorus.
As far as what's going to happen when your student arrives, each student will be assigned a locker, we hope. Again, this year we were not able to give out lockers due to the COVID restrictions. We are not sure yet what will happen next year, but the plan is to assign everybody a locker. The lockers are not that big, so they have to come prepared with a smaller backpack that just fits in the locker. Each day they empty out the backpack, put it in the locker, and off they go. When you see the schedule, you may see that one class ends at the same time as another class begins. Please don't worry about that. We do have time built in. The teachers allow the students to move from place to place, but when you see the building, they are in one pod. So moving from class to class is a very simple process, and teachers do allow time for that. When the students go to lunch, the hope is we will have our cafeteria back to where it was before, and each student chooses their own seat. So this is their opportunity to be with their friends if they are not on the same team. So they choose their seat, and then based on whatever day it is in the school calendar, we allow students to go up and get their lunch. So if it's a day one, the students at the tables 1 go up to get their lunch first. If it's a day 7, the kids, I choose actually, but on a day 6, it would be the kids from the group of 6 tables. So it's a process so that everybody gets an opportunity to go first, and everybody will also get the opportunity to be last. And finally, we start every day at 8:15. Students will head to a homeroom, and the expectation is that if you're dropping off your child, that they get here by that 8:15 start. We don't expect them to arrive any earlier than 8 o'clock, but they need to be in their classroom by 8:15. Buses drop off in the front. Parent drop off, again, is in the back of the building.
Okay, so this is kind of a long slide where we're going to spend a little bit of time going through some of the different parts that are here. So the first thing we have here is there's an electronic course selection process. So we need each family to go into PowerSchool and select your music classes for this year. And at the end of this presentation, I'll do a quick demonstration for how you can do that, It has to be done on a desktop. I know that many of us are used to looking at our kids' grades and progress reports on an app. But this one has to be done on a desktop. So I'll show you how to do that at the end of this presentation. A summer reading list. So after we send out this orientation to parents, there'll be a follow-up email that comes with your summer reading list and all the other information that's on here as well. We do ask that students read at least one book over the summer. There's a suggested list that we will send out to you, but really kids can choose anything that's at their level and their interest. And then there'll be some type of small project when the kids come back to school. There is a supply list. So back in the beginning of April, I did email parents with the opportunity to purchase a kit online, because sometimes it's just easier to purchase the kit than it is to go shopping from store to store. But if you missed out on that opportunity to do that, then you can use the order form that's online to kind of guide you in your shopping for the things that you will need to start grade 6. And then our brush up courses. So our math and LA brush up courses, they run the week before school starts. So that'll be August 23rd through the 26th. It's a 4-day course. They are 2 hours each. So we run one at 8 a.m. and we run one at 10 a.m. And they're kind of dual purpose classes. So the first class is just, the first purpose is to kind of get kids thinking about math again, or thinking about reading and writing again. And it's all fun activities that they do. There's no homework, there's no tests. It really is just a kind of let's get back into the swing of things kind of class. And then the second purpose is that it gets kids in our building. So, we didn't run these this past year, but in years past when we've run them, it's interesting when the kids walk in on the first day of school. Those who have been here for the brush up classes walk in with their heads held high, and there's this "I got this" look about them. And so they've been there, they've been in the teachers' classrooms. There's some familiarity there with them, with where they're going and what they're doing. And so it really is a kind of a nice option. So like I said, in the follow-up email that we will send to you later this week, there'll be a registration form for you to use to sign up and send those in to us. Those need to come directly to Mountview, and unfortunately, old-fashioned snail mail is the only way to get them to us. So there's just a form that you have to fill out on the bottom. You select whether you're signing up for just the math, just the LA, or both. I will be watching numbers very carefully in the brush ups this year. I do have quite a few teachers who have volunteered to teach. So I will be watching numbers just to make sure that we stay within guidelines for how many kids can be in classes. And then more information will follow in mid-August or so for parents who are bringing their kids, like where to drop off, when to pick up, those kinds of things. That information will follow later, but I would strongly encourage you to sign up for those. So we only take registration for those up through July because they do fill up rather quickly. So we want to make sure that we have a good cutoff date so everybody gets in their information as quickly as they can. There'll be some information that comes to you from our nurse about updated vaccine information, meaning kind of the traditional shots that your kids have to have before they go into grade 7. So she'll send some information along with that too. Summer math blasts. So we, every week during the summer, every Monday during the summer, we send out just a quick math blast, a set of maybe 10 to 15 problems that kids can do. They are fully optional. We are hoping this year to send them out through Google Classroom. We're trying to figure out how to do that with students that we don't have yet. So that's kind of a process that we're working on right now. But if we can't send it through Google Classroom, it'll come through School Messenger as something that parents can print and have their kids do. And then the math teachers, our grade 6 math teachers, offer some great extra credit and prizes to the kids who bring them in when we come back in school. And finally, there'll be a spiritware order that will be online that will follow soon. I know that we have a teacher here who coordinates that, and she is working on that. So even between now, when this is recorded and when this gets to parents, there may be a link that's already been sent to you. And if not, it'll be following very, very soon.
All right, sports at Mountview. So we have teams that represent Mountview in every sport, every season. The problem is that we have a cut system, so it's competitive. So students will have the opportunity to try out for athletics, but they don't always make the team, especially 6th graders. And it's not always about talent. It's sometimes about their size, because our 6th graders are very small coming in, And when they leave as 8th graders, many of them are bigger than I. So it's a system that it works, and it's worked for years, and hopefully everybody will have the opportunity to participate. In the fall, we have field hockey, boys and girls soccer, cross country, and a district-wide tackle football team. So the hockey, the soccer, and the football team all are cut sports, where cross country is not. But cross country is a first come, first served basis, meaning that we have 45 openings for boys and 45 openings for girls. So if your child is interested in that, you want to get on to Family ID as soon as possible. In the winter, we have boys and girls basketball. Again, these are both cut sports. And in the spring, we have boys baseball, girls softball, and track and field. Once again, track and field is a non-cut sport, but it does have limits. So first 45 boys, first 45 girls to sign up will be on the team. We look at their grades and make sure that they're doing well academically. They need to be passing every course. If they are not, we will ask them not to participate in sports, as they need to concentrate on their academics. The tryout policy will be announced by each coach at the time of tryouts. And there is a fee, and the fee right now is $120 per student per sport. So it's not as though you just pay once. If your child plays 2 sports, they're going to pay $240. And finally, registration is done on familyid.com. And this is a place that you may want to go and set up an account. Like everything else, once you get there, the page is pretty self-explanatory. But if you set up your account now, it will last you right through high school. So you can set it up and it just sits there. And then when you do want to sign up for a sport, you can just go in and click on that sport and you'll be ready to go. And as far as physicals go, you need to have an updated physical. And an updated physical means that it has been done within the last 13 months. So if your child is due for a physical, get it done as soon as possible so that if they're interested in a fall sport, they're ready to go. And payment for sports is not due until the child makes the team. So please wait until your child makes the team, and then I will send out a link to the RevTrek, which is where we pay for the sports. So don't pay when your child is trying out. Wait until they've made the team. Oh, I'm activities too. I apologize. So we have a lot of activities. In addition to sports, we also have student council. We have a school play. The school play encompasses usually somewhere between 100 and 120 students. Everybody gets a part. So if your child's interested, please have them try out. We have a ski club that's done through Wachusett Mountain, and that goes 6 Mondays after, I believe it's after the Christmas break, beginning in January or so. And that's all done outside of school. We have Model UN. We have writing clubs. We have art club. We have anime, the ukulele. We have a ping pong club, a chess club. We haven't had robotics in a while, but it's possible that may come back as well. So what's important to know is if your child has an interest, they are welcome to bring it to us. And if it's something that we can support and they can find a teacher who's interested in helping them out with that, we can start any club. And we want kids to get involved. So please have your students get involved here at Mountview.
So Karen talked to you about some of the specific courses that kids would take here at Mountview. A lot of the questions that go along with academics have to do with homework, extra help policies, et cetera. So homework for grade 6, 60 minutes max per night. And we've really focused with our staff on reducing the amount of homework given outside of the school day. And with COVID and the pandemic and working in the hybrid remote environment, a lot of class time has been devoted to getting that work started with the kids. So we would continue with that practice starting next year, continuing next year, where class ends a few minutes early, kids get to start their schoolwork there. And then they also have the added benefit of having the teacher working with them to help reinforce and help them if there's any questions before they go home and try to do this on their own. We do have a homework zone, which is an after school program offered to families. It's Monday through Thursday from 3 to 4 o'clock. And it's a pay program for kids to be there every day for an hour, but it is staffed with a 6th grade classroom teacher. So there's the benefit of a classroom teacher available to help kids answer questions, get their work done. And that the real benefit of this is when kids walk out of here at 4 o'clock, their homework is done. And if you're a parent like I am, sometimes doing homework with your kids at home can be a challenge, to say the least. And so one of the nice side effects of this is that work gets done with somebody else who's trained to do that. And then when they leave, for the most part, that schoolwork is done. There's always going to be studying to do for tests and long-term projects that might need to be done outside of the homework zone. But we want to encourage families to investigate that, and Karen can send information out to families. We have that posted to our school website as well. Extra help policies. Our school really comes alive starting at about 7:40 in the morning, where we have a number of kids dropped off, or it could be clubs, extracurricular activities, but a lot of it is for kids going to see their teachers for extra help. Teachers make themselves available before and after school, depending on the teacher and their own situation. But we really take pride in the fact that we have a rigorous program here, but we also provide ample opportunities for our children to get the support and extra support that they require. And so this place comes alive. Kids check in the office. We call up to the classroom, make sure the teacher's there. They head up, and sometimes it could be one-on-one support. Sometimes it could be 3 or 4 kids or 10 kids if there's a chapter test coming up in a day or two. But it's a real successful practice that we have in place here. So learning how to study at Mountview, that's something that we don't assume will happen without being taught. And so teachers work with the kids to get them prepared to know how to study, what they need to do, taking notes, et cetera. It's not something that we would just assume kids walk in the door being comfortable doing that. And so a lot of time is devoted to helping kids develop those study habits and skills necessary to be successful. Managing time for middle school is a huge challenge. Kids have a lot of time during the day, a lot of time outside of school, and they just have to learn how to juggle getting their schoolwork done. And then also balancing that with the other activities. Kids are involved in sports, clubs, extracurricular activities. Some of those are school-based. Some of those are town and rec department-based. But we really want kids to be challenged at school. That's our responsibility. But at the same time, we recognize the fact, even with our own children, that there needs to be a balance between the academics and the fun piece of life, which is extracurricular activities or just flat out downtime and not having anything to do some afternoons. We think that's important for our kids to not be overstructured and overbooked. So this year, the theme for everybody in the world has been COVID protocols and bringing kids back to school safely. I think we did a really good job of that here at Mountview. So right now I'm sharing with you some of our current requirements, and this is May of 2021. So our safe distancing in classrooms, desks are set at 3 feet. Kids, clearly, they're always wearing masks, regular hand washing, safe distancing in our lunchrooms. We have desks spaced at 6 feet apart. We're using our cafeteria and our gym for lunch services right now on individual student desks. We clean desks between classes and lunches. And we have indoor and outdoor mask breaks for our students because wearing a mask for hours at a time is a struggle for anybody. So we give them a few breaks during the day to take the mask off, get fresh air, obviously with safe distancing in place. Deep cleaning takes place every evening on Wednesday afternoons. Our custodian crew has really stepped up and done a fantastic job staying on top of things at Mountview and making sure that protocols are followed. Classrooms are equipped with all the PPE and supplies that they need to make sure that we can keep classrooms clean and safe for our students and staff. So the areas to be determined, and this is the big unknown, as everybody knows. We could think we're heading in a direction, and all of a sudden, Department of Ed or the governor comes out with a new timeline or a new expectation, and literally it can change from week to week. So, as of right now, these are the things that we have in place. That could all be different in September. I kind of hope it is. I hope we're in a better place by then, but we always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So right now there's some areas to be determined, and that includes athletics, clubs, extracurricular activities. I love to have a school where kids are coming and going from 7:30 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. So if we're able to offer sports, clubs, extracurricular activities safely, by all means, we will open the doors and have that happen. I think it's a great thing for our kids to get plugged in to the culture at Mountview and get to meet other friends from other schools. Cafeteria seating, again, our goal would be to have the traditional cafeteria configuration with larger tables, everybody in one room. It's more of a social opportunity for our kids than they have right now in separate desks. Again, that's to be determined. Band and chorus, right now there's all serious restrictions on singing and playing of instruments because of the air exchange, and that's a statewide or a countrywide restriction. So hopefully that gets lifted if it's safe to do so. And right now, students aren't allowed to use lockers because of COVID protocols, for the fear that kids would spend too much time less than 3 feet apart socializing in between classes. And so right now, lockers aren't being used. Again, that'll be determined when we start the school year. We've actually had real good success with kids using backpacks and going from class to class. To be honest, sometimes lockers are too much of a distraction. So we'll have to cross that bridge next year when it's determined if it's safe to use lockers, and then what's the most efficient thing for kids going through the school day. Some kids may opt to continue to use backpacks instead of lockers, where other kids may want to use lockers for winter coats, et cetera, or some of their books. And so that'll be kind of an August, September decision, or sometime during the school year, depending on where we're at.
Okay, so the first day of school for all 3 of our grades will be September 1st. So typically what we do on the first day of school is that, we have a lot of nervous 6th graders coming into us, and they worry about, where do I go? How do I get there? So we house our grade 6 students in the gym on the morning that they get there. So it's just off the bus or out of the car and right into the gym. Find your friends and just sit for a minute. We always do this kind of collective breath that you're here, we made it. And then we call off the students, introduce them to their teachers, and they head off to homerooms, and the teachers take really good care of them on that first day. Like Eric said earlier, our school is so easy to navigate. Our grade 6 students stay on the first floor. Our teachers will make sure that they know where all their classes are during those days. And it's a great setup because it's right. Everything is all in one pod for each of the kids. Just so students know that 6th grade eats lunch only with 6th graders. And at the end of the school day, we dismiss our 6th graders to buses first. So in a normal routine, like even now, we always dismiss our 8th graders to buses first. They typically head to the back of buses, and they have the longest, since they're on our top floor, they have the longest travel distance to get from the top floor down. So when we do start school on September 1st, we will dismiss our grade 6 students to buses first, just so they can find their bus. And the beautiful part is that once they find their bus, it's in the same location for the rest of the year. So it's a pretty good routine there.
So parent involvement at Mountview, one of the things parents find in middle school is in the elementary school setting, there's a lot of opportunities for gatherings. Kids really look forward to having their parents come in and join their classes. And we still love for that to happen. It's just that your kids change, and they don't want that to happen so much anymore as they're becoming teenagers. But with that said, we do have lots of opportunities for parents to be involved at Mountview, and we have a PTA that meets once a month, once every other month. I have a student improvement council that meets on a monthly basis, and if you're interested in being a part of the Mountview Simco, please send me an email. We're always looking for new members as our 8th grade families cycle out and 6th grade families move in. Prior to this year, we've had a monthly coffee and chat where we meet on Friday mornings and kind of have an open agenda where families can come in and talk about questions and concerns. I can provide updates on what's happening here at school. We have school dances and field trips. We love to have chaperones attend some of our dances and field trips. Again, your children may not want you to be here, but we do, and you're welcome to be here. And what we try to do on a dance, for example, is have parents station a snack area, or have a job, something else to do, so the kids can be themselves, and parents are working, and it works really well for us. Keep an eye on our school website for other opportunities that might pop up, and check out the teacher websites and Google Classroom pages. Again, with the whole hybrid remote learning in place the past year or so, a lot of our work is done on Google Classroom, and kids are now very adept at getting onto the Google Classroom for website for each of their teachers, and seeing what the assignments are, what the projects are that are upcoming, and we'll work with families to make sure that you're good at that if you haven't had the opportunity to do that at the elementary school levels. Karen did talk about Power School, and one of the things that's great here is that Power School will show final grades for students, after a test is corrected, projects, and at the end of each quarter. Again, we would recommend, checking with your child in terms of like day-to-day assignments, what they're getting for grades, because sometimes there's a delay between getting a math homework sheet back on a Tuesday and when that grade is actually entered into Power School. So still stay in touch with your kids about those assignments that they're getting done and getting turned in, and what the grades are. And if there's ever questions about those grades, you can certainly reach out to classroom teachers. They're very approachable. Email addresses can be found on our website and via Power School. And we do have a school Facebook page. We encourage you to like that page, and we put out some news and information when things are out there that we want to share.
Finally, summertime at Mountview. Most important for you folks is you may want to bring your students in order to see what the school is like. So we do offer tours, and this year the tours will be August 17th and 19th at 11, and the 24th and 26th at noon. And these dates are subject to change. So please keep an eye on the website, and if anything changes, we'll let you know. Office hours, they're usually 8 to 2 each day throughout the summer, but you should check the website, because if the school's not going to be open, it will be posted, so that you're not wasting your time coming up here and finding that no one is here. Teams will be posted on Friday, August 27th at 3 via Power School only. So, and once the teams are put together, there are no changes. So you'll see your child, you'll know where they're going, and again, hopefully they get here and they'll find out that they have many friends with them. Brush up classes, Karen spoke about those earlier. They will be math and language arts, and they'll be August 23rd through the 26th. And the two times, again, are at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. So when you're signing up, choose the time that's best for you. And finally, again, the brush up is the math, jumpstart is the writing, and same thing, the 23rd through the 26th, and at 8 and 10 a.m. So please sign your children up, get them here early, and hopefully we're all set to go come September.
So Karen had shared with families a Google form where they were able to type in some questions that may not have been covered throughout our presentation. And so we'll go through a few of those questions. If you have additional questions kind of after hearing what we've had to say, by all means, please send us an email. Please give us a call at the school. I consider myself and our administrative team to be very approachable, and our goal is to make sure that you're comfortable and we've got your questions answered. And ultimately, we want your kids to feel comfortable coming here in the fall. And so let's go through a couple of the questions. I'll read the first one. The first one is, how do students and parents communicate with teachers? It's a lot different nowadays than it was 15 years ago. Kids have and families have multiple ways to reach out to family to their teachers. Email is probably the most efficient way to do that, just because you're able to send a note out whenever you have time. The teacher or administrator has a chance to respond whenever they have time. It's not really schedule dependent. And our rule of thumb with staff or with ourselves is that you would hear back from us within about 24 hours, except for like a Friday afternoon email. You'd hear back from us on a Monday. But a lot of times we're on our phones and checking our email continuously. As much as my family doesn't like me to, we do that, and we try to keep families informed of answers and what's going on. That's in terms of communication. We have Google Classroom. We do encourage kids to reach out to teachers, and I know that's a skill that needs to be developed over time. And how do you put together an email? How do you request something from a teacher? We work with kids to do that, but we want kids to advocate for themselves. And sometimes email is the least threatening way to reach out to a teacher and ask a question or ask for some support. But we want kids to be able to do that, and certainly parents are already adept at doing that.
Okay. Another question was, do students get to start learning a foreign language in 6th grade? And the short answer to that is no. The district has set up foreign language to be a grade 7 and 8 program. So our students, when they go to grade 7, will be put into a foreign language class, and they will study that class for 2 years. So the answer, again, no to 6th grade. 7th and 8th, yes.
All right. The next question that came out is, will there be any time during the school day to work on homework, like a study hall? So we don't have study halls here per se, but like I think was mentioned a couple of times earlier in our presentation, we do allow kids to start their work. There's usually a lesson that the teacher will deliver to the students. And then at some point at the end of the class, there'll be a start on homework so that initial questions can be answered by the teacher. So that is often, if a student uses their class time well, it can significantly reduce the amount of work that they are doing at home. As Eric mentioned earlier too, we also have an after-school homework program, the Homework Zone, and that has been a real gift that our PTA offers here at Mountview. And to have your students actually be able to stay at school for an extra hour, get their work done under the supervision of a 6th grade teacher, along with other 6th graders who probably have the same assignments, has really been beneficial. And it's so great that when they leave school after Homework Zone, that 90% or even more of their work is done, and they can just enjoy their evening with their family or doing whatever extracurricular activities they have. So the next question that came up, so I'm going to exit our PowerPoint so I can show you all this. So the next question that came up was about how will parents know about homework or tests? So our grade 6 teachers are really great about communicating with their students and also with parents. So like Eric said, there's Google Classroom that has information that's out there. And, there's a to-do list in Google Classroom that parents can reference. But I know that can be a little overwhelming for our kids and sometimes for parents too. And our teachers know that too. So I just wanted to show you what our grade 6 teachers do. So on the Mountview website, under teacher pages and class websites, and this may take a second to load just because I have a lot of things going on my computer at this second. And if you go down on here, this is where Mr. Githmark was talking earlier about where teacher email addresses are. So say your child is on 6 Blue, you would click on the 6 Blue team website. And there's this wonderful, amazing list that our teachers put together each week. And it will pop up in a second, I promise. I just have a lot of tabs open on my computer right now. There it is. And it will tell you what the homework assignment is for each teacher in each class. So you can see Ms. Boutot's math, Ms. Munsner's and Mrs. Swallock's language arts, Ms. Brisboy's science work, and then even further down on here, you can see Mrs. Benedict's social studies work. And typically there isn't homework in either art or seminar. So some of our teachers are able to post work for the week. So sometimes you can log on Monday and see everything. And some of our other kind of content-driven ones, like science and social studies, are they kind of do it one day at a time. It's because it depends on how much work they get through in a particular class. But it's out there for parents, and it has made life very easy for many of our 6th grade parents. So this is kind of like the secret to the success of a 6th grader. So this is good information for all of you. It's something you can easily bookmark and you can see. So I think that's the little key to success right there.
Okay.
All right. So the next question that was asked is about grading. And so this is a big transition piece that our students go through. is going back to that, is going from that 1, 2, 3, 4 system of grading on progress reports that they may or may not have a lot of knowledge of or a lot of investment in, that it gets translated into traditional grades that, that we probably had when we were kids. So yes, students will be graded on tests and quizzes and projects and assignments. And each teacher will kind of outline for you what their grading policy is and what percentage each of those categories hold for them. And then your students will have a letter grade for each class each term. So this is a big transition for kids. And so it's important for parents to kind of set that expectation that you do the best you can, but this is our first time getting letter grades. So the expectation may not be there that they have straight A's. This is something that they are adjusting to. So it's important to kind of navigate that with them and get them adjusted to having that there. So that is all something that's visible in PowerSchool. So once when you go into PowerSchool now, you're probably going in once a term to look at progress report comments. Now you can go in, weekly or so and see where your child's grades are in each class. And even when you see that average, so say you see that they have an 88 in math, you can click on that 88 and see what made that 88. So you can see that they got a 90 on a test, but their homework completion rate may be a 75 or something like that. So you can see all that information there. And it is really great information and good discussion catalysts for when you're asking your kids where certain assignments happen to be. So I think that covers all of our questions that parents had asked us. And I know that I had told you that I wanted to show you how to request your courses. So I got to take this back in for just a quick second here so you can see what the screen looks like. I can't show you the actual process yet because it hasn't been turned on, but I can show you how to, when it does get turned on, how you can actually go in to do it. So like I said before, you have to do this from a desktop computer or a laptop computer. You can't do it from the app on your phone. When you log in, you will see that a new icon has appeared on the left-hand side of your screen that says class registration. So you would click on that button and up will come a screen that looks like this. And the only thing that we are asking you to select at this time, and we're doing this kind of preemptively in the hopes that we will have band and chorus back, you're going to click on this button here. So what's going to pop up for us is going to be our current music selections as opposed to chorus or band. This year, we're teaching just a general music class because of the restrictions that Mr. Githmark had talked about before. But on here, when you log in, it'll say, Mountview chorus or Mountview band. You're going to select one of the two of them by clicking one of these two buttons here. And then you're going to hit the OK button. And then the most important part is that down here in this right-hand corner will be a button that says submit. It's not here right now because this is just a preview screen that I'm looking at with you. And you have to click that submit button in order for the information of the class that you selected to travel over to me. And so in the follow-up email that we send to you, I will send you directions in writing for how to do this, just to make sure that it's there. For those of you who are fast and furiously taking notes for me, that there will be directions there for how you can go about doing that too. So I think that covers everything as far as the demonstration piece and the information that we had and your questions and answers. Mr. Githmark?
So our hope is that things continue to open up as we move through the summer. And as that happens, we will do our job to effectively communicate with you folks, just so it's even more predictable for your child when they come back in September, so they know what the cafeteria looks like, classes, safe distancing, et cetera. So we appreciate the time you gave us this evening to learn more about Mountview Middle School. And just want to encourage you, if you have any further questions, concerns, comments, reach out to us directly, send us an email. We're more than happy to respond and help make this transition a smooth one. We've done this for a while. We're pretty good at it. And we think the kids really have a good experience. And within 2 or 3 days of being the new people in our building, they walk around here like they've been here forever. And so we're really looking forward to that happening this fall. Thank you, everybody.